Today I'm going to give you 10 pieces of brutally honest advice to my younger skinny fat self so that she could get results faster without all of the bullshit. Before we get into this video, I have to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed in the last 2 months. I started asking you guys to help me get our subscription up, our subscribers up, because the number of people who view this, we were trying to get above 30%, and we successfully did, and it resulted in the channel surpassing 100,000 petite community members in this new year. I'm gonna make a separate video to celebrate that, but I just wanted to candidly say, wow, thank you. I'm so excited to create more amazing content for petite women. And that said, we are still trying to get the majority of people who watch our videos to also be subscribed to the channel. So if you are a petite woman, if you're 5'4" and shorter, if you are trying to lead your healthiest life, and you like this content, please give this video a like and please subscribe to the channel and help us reach our goal of getting over that 30% mark. We're still working on it, and I appreciate the follow so much. Now, this advice that I'm giving in this video, it's advice to my former self. I was also skinny fat at the time, had excess fat, did not have a lot of muscle tone, and I was trying really hard to get to where I wanted to be. So if you're in a place where you feel like you are trying all the things, not seeing results, if you're 5'4" and shorter, you're dieting, you're, stuck in cycles of restriction and then binge eating, this video is gonna help you get untangled from that and start actually seeing results as a short woman. Also, in case you don't know, this isn't just advice. I'm also a professional. I am a certified nutritionist, a certified personal trainer, and I have helped thousands of petite women through our programs and through this channel basically fix skinny fat. I call that, it's like the informal word for changing your body composition. So building muscle and losing body fat, belly fat as a short woman. So in case you haven't seen, this is what I used to look like. I was like this for a lot of my life despite doing tons of exercise. Like, I'm a former pro athlete. Even as a pro athlete, I had crazy amounts of belly fat and just felt not confident in my body. And I was so stumped as to why I was not seeing results by restricting my calories and doing tons of cardio. And I felt lethargic, I felt weak, just wasn't working. And obviously that all changed. This is me today. Now, over the years, I have been able to build lean muscle and lose the body fat. And my first time actually seeing a change in my body only took 12 weeks. Even though I've been doing this for years now, the very first time I made these exact changes that I'm gonna give you in this video, my body changed in 12 weeks very visibly. In fact, here is the picture of just the 12-week, I would call it my very first body recomposition, the very first time I actually beat skinny fat by changing everything I was doing, completely rewiring what I thought it took to lose body fat and doing what really works. And this is what I wish someone told me, I wish I knew as a short woman trying to lose fat back in 2015, around there. The very first, most important thing you need to know as a short woman trying to lose weight is that there is 3,500 calories in a pound of fat, okay? So a pound of fat, it's like this much. There's 3,500 calories that you need to burn either through exercise or diet to lose that pound of fat. Now, if you wanted to lose that pound in 1 week, for a petite woman, for any person, it's going to require a 500 calorie deficit daily. Now, before you even go and say, okay, I'll go try to eat in a 500 calorie deficit daily for the next 7 days, back up. This is where it is totally different for us petites, and I just didn't have any concept of this when I first started because it's not widely spoken about. A 500 calorie deficit per day for a petite woman, you're basically now only eating 500 calories a day. This is not sustainable. This is going to cause your metabolism to completely crash that week. Your energy levels are gonna crash. It is so low amount of calories to be eating as a petite that you may not even lose the weight because your metabolic adaptation is gonna kick in where your body stops burning fat, it slows down. A bunch of your metabolic processes are gonna shut down. You're not gonna be producing the same hormones. It's gonna fuck everything up, okay? For lack of better words, it's not gonna be good. Now, what does this mean? It means that off the bat, I wish I knew that losing weight as a petite is different. It looks different. It feels different than it does for taller people who can easily cut 500 calories per day and lose that pound of fat in a week without really feeling hungry or tired or lethargic or slowing down their metabolism out of nowhere really fast. So since we can't do a 500 calorie deficit daily to lose that pound in a week, that means off the bat, know and go into this prepared that it will take you longer as a shorter woman to see results. So that's the very first thing that you have to know, is that it's okay and it's normal for it to take a little bit longer and for it to be a slower process for us petites, if you want to do it the healthy, sustainable way, and if you want to do it the right way so that you keep off the weight and you feel really good with your results. If you want to dive into the science of metabolism and what's different about the petite body type, I am teaching a completely free fat loss masterclass for petite women 5'4" and shorter. Whether you have 100 pounds you want to lose or you just want to tone up, you can register below and come to this class and get the science and go deeper with me on that. I do update this presentation. It's been completely updated for 2024. So you're gonna learn about your body as a petite, and trust me, you can't find this information anywhere else on the internet. It just, nobody's talking about it. So if you wanna learn more and dive into the science of metabolism and learn how to really apply what's different about your body towards your fat loss goals in 2024, register below. I have 2 live sessions coming up, and save your seat before spots run out because it is a super fun event. It's a party. You get to meet all your petite peers and walk away with a plan that's gonna work for you in the new year. So check that out below. This second piece of brutally honest advice, this is brutally honest. Truly for me, when I look back and I think back on my skinny fat days, I had a lot of nights where I didn't want to eat healthy, honestly. I thought it would taste bad to have I thought my only options were chicken and broccoli. That's really what I thought it was, I think. I was like, I just want to eat what I want to eat. And so what would end up happening is I would kind of delay dinner, like I'd try to skip it, or I would go for something that I thought would do no harm, and it ended up doing a lot more harm. For example, the number of nights that I literally just had tortilla chips and salsa as my dinner, but would go way overboard because it's not enough food. And so I would just overeat on things that were super salty or super palatable, like sugary foods, secret sugary foods, okay? Like foods that I thought were healthy, like nuts and things that were processed, chips and bags of things that looked small in quantity, but are very densely caloric if you look at the nutrition labels on the back. What I wish I knew, and what I wish someone could have told me at the time, is that eating healthy can taste really good, and there's 2 things that go into that make it work. One, your palate, like your tongue, can actually change the way it tastes food over time. So I wish I knew you could train your palate to like healthier foods. Is it gonna be fun? No, it's not gonna be like you're enjoying it all the time, but can it eventually get to a place where you're cooking your foods at home and it tastes just as good as you remember that cheeseburger tasting? Yeah, if you learn how to cook a little bit, if you learn how to use spices, if you learn that you can how to balance a meal so that it has, good satiating flavors, it's gonna taste incredible, make you feel good. And I just didn't have the confidence in the kitchen to do that. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't really think that I could like food that was home cooked unless it was really bad for you. And that was a mindset shift that I needed to make. So if I could go back, I would tell myself, hey, you can still have the chips and salsa, but add to it, okay? Don't just have carbs for dinner, which is what that is, carbs and fat. Add a protein you like, add a burger. It's gonna be better than if you just have the chips and way overeat on the chips, because when you eat foods that make you feel more satiated, you get enough protein, you will end up eating less, and you will not be in a huge caloric surplus and gaining weight as a result. When we try to restrict what we eat more. We also, if we only eat carbohydrates, it's not satiating, it's not filling, we end up craving more and more and more. So if you know how to go ahead and start balancing your plate, add more protein, add some fiber in the form of vegetables, you can still have the foods you like. So I would call this food combining. Instead of restricting, start food combining. Start learning about protein, fat, and fiber and make sure every meal has that. start cooking more at home. This is me talking to my younger self, and know that chips and salsa for dinner is not gonna cut it. Like, that's not gonna make you feel good. It's not gonna be enough food, and you're gonna way overeat it. And now your palate's gonna be all messed up, and you're only gonna crave worse foods. When we eat bad foods, we crave them. So you need to start feeding yourself more intentionally better foods. And over time, it does get easier, it does taste better, and your palate does train, just like you can train your muscles, which your tongue is a muscle, but I'm talking about the palate, not really like the tongue muscle. I don't know, it's getting weird, but you can train it to actually like food that's gonna help you also reach your goals and lose weight. This one is huge. Number 3, when I used to start a Monday reset where you're like, it's Monday, I'm gonna be perfect today, I'm gonna eat all the right foods and lose all the weight immediately, like that. That's how I used to think. I was like, I'm gonna do this in a day. Now, going back to piece of advice number 1, petite women cannot do that. We need a longer term approach that's more sustainable, because we can't just go losing a pound in a week. We will not be able to do that sustainably. So something that completely changed in my mind is the time frame. I know that if I have a weekend where I don't eat that well, maybe I have some more drinks with friends, maybe I'm celebrating something, maybe I had a birthday, maybe whatever, maybe there was no reason to celebrate, I just went crazy one weekend. I know now that Monday is not gonna fix all my problems. It's not. I can't get it perfect. I give myself now like 3 to 5 days to gradually get back in a place where my appetite is normal, my cravings get back to normal. I'm not like craving ice cream every night. It's gonna take a few days. That mindset shift of, okay, I don't have to be perfect anymore. I don't have to, the perfectionism is what I'm really getting at. I don't have to fix it in a day. It's realistically going to take all the little processes in my body, biologically, like 3 to 5 days to get back to normal, and I let it happen. I just let it happen. I don't try to force it in a day. Let yourself get back on track slowly, consistently, and don't put pressure on yourself to fix everything and overcompensate for a few days of bad eating in a single day. This also goes for starting a diet. Don't cut a lot of calories fast. You want to taper into a diet slowly, meaning start with 50 calories, then 100. Just go slow. Don't do it all in a day, because your body will send a lot of resistance back at you in the form of hunger and mental fog and a bunch of things. But if you can ease into it and have the patience for that, you're gonna see the weight come off faster, because you'll actually be able to stick to it in the long run. Now, they say you can't hate yourself into a hot body, right? You can't, wait, is that the quote? Like, that might not be the quote. You can't, what is it? Okay, I don't remember what the quote is, but you guys get the gist, right? You can't like hate your body and then that's what ends up creating your most fit, sexy, happy, loving body. It doesn't really work that way. I will say there was a time where I was really unhappy with how I felt and I made a change. There was a deep unhappiness with how clothes fit and how I felt in my body. That's different, but you can't put yourself down to a place where it motivates you to work out. I'll give you an example. When there were times where I was down on my body or really hard on myself or practicing more self-loathing, it would result in stricter food rules, in more restriction or certain foods I couldn't eat. That in turn led to binge eating later. It led to self-sabotaging results. It led to not being able to stick to a plan. Instead, what I've found has been the most sustainable is literally lessening my food rules, having balance, having the foods that I love in moderation, not going off the rails with them, actually trusting myself around food, letting go of all of these little things and practicing more of that self-love and acceptance helped me get to a place where I was able to let go of excess weight, because the weight we carry is not just physical, it's also emotional, it's mental. The more you resist, the more your weight loss resistance is there, and the more you can relax into it and trust that it's going to happen, and you're going to forgive yourself if you slip up or eat something that you knew you shouldn't have or wasn't a part of your plan for the day. Just letting yourself be a human and move on and get back on track the next day is the best thing that you can do. When you have that self-love as well, it's gonna let you move slower with your results, because you won't feel like you have to fix yourself in a day. You'll say, I already love myself, so I have time to even create a better version of me. I don't have to fix this in a day. I'm just going to relax and I'm going to get back into this plan for myself in a week instead of a day. Piece of advice number 5 to my petite self. This one's huge and very practical. Stop doing all of that running. I used to go outside in Brooklyn and run like all over Brooklyn. I would just run and run and run and run until I felt exhausted and felt like, okay, surely I burned the calories I needed to lose weight, right? Does not work like that. I wish I knew I didn't need any of that cardio and I could just lift weights and focus on a step count, go for walks, read while I'm on the treadmill, watch TV while I'm on the treadmill, and listen to podcasts while I walk outside and lift weights, primarily lift weights. I wish that I had known that, and I spent a lot of years resisting that advice, and if I had just started lifting weights, I would have seen results faster. So number 5 is very practical, but start lifting weights and stop focusing on all of the cardio as a petite woman, because building muscle is going to help you burn more calories at rest, increase the metabolism, and help you burn fat, which cardio is not going to do. Cardio only burns calories in the moment, not the rest of your day. I also spent many hours on YouTube back then just trying to find the perfect body split and follow what other influencers were doing. You don't need their plan. They're in a different place than you. You need to do full body workouts for the first few years and focus on building overall muscle in your body. Develop that foundation of functional fitness, and that is going to serve you the most when it comes to changing your body composition as a petite. Advice number 6, y'all, keeping it really real with you. You cannot be binge drinking as a petite woman and expect to lose weight. You cannot be drinking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drinks a week or a nightly glass of wine and expect to lose weight. Here's why as petite women it is different. Like I said, we're eating fewer calories in a day. We have less room for error in general. And if you're just adding empty calories, I almost said ice cream. Alcohol is a 4th macronutrient. There's protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Alcohol is a 4th one. We don't really count it because it has no nutritional value. However, it does have 7 calories per gram, which makes it pretty caloric for no good reason. We already know this. It's why it's called empty calories. When us petite women have 2 drinks, that's gonna make up quite literally a third of your caloric intake for the day. That's not gonna work out. I knew that wasn't a good idea too, but I still did it. So it's really unraveling that habit of, if you like to drink, go deeper. Ask yourself why. What feeling are you getting from alcohol that you could be creating in other ways for yourself? What kind of people are you hanging out with? No judgment. I also am not sober or anything. I am just saying, if alcohol is a part of your routine and weight loss is a goal you have, you might need to look at your consumption habits and figure out if they align with the goals you have realistically, because as petites, we do need to make some choices. Now, I will say you can still have it in moderation. I would say if you go out to dinner, here's a really practical tip. Choose dessert or a cocktail or whatever drink you want instead of both. So just learning balance, learning choices is gonna help a lot here. And it's not just the empty calories that matter for petites. It's what happens after you consume those drinks. Do you go and hit that drive-through and consume another 500, 600 calories? I know when I used to drink, even if I had 2 drinks with dinner, I would get hungry later at night because of my blood sugar levels would be inconsistent then. And I would go to the bodega in Brooklyn and I would try to find something I could eat late at night, and it was never a good option. So those excess calories that come from the alcohol, and then afterwards the binge eating or just the late night snacking, and then the next day, alcohol's still affecting your blood sugar levels because you're going to have higher peaks and valleys, meaning your hunger is going to be, you're going to crave the carbs and then you're going to crash. So alcohol is affecting it long after you drink as well, and it can just make everything so much harder, to be honest. Piece of advice number 7 for me. I think when I was younger, I had this fear of being hungry and I couldn't strike the balance. I was either absolutely starving and not eating all day, skipping meals, or I was really stuffed. And I really struggled to find that balance. What I've learned from education and working with clients and my own weight loss journey is that a little bit of hunger is very good. When I say a little bit, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being starving and 10 being stuffed, if you were a 6 or a 7, that's okay. You don't need to be an 8, 9, or 10. You're not gonna die, okay, if you are at a 7 most of your day. And your body actually functions better at a cellular level when it's not constantly processing food and calories. Another thing that's kind of interesting to think about is that I used to feel like, well, I have to eat this food. I had more compulsion around food, but it actually is a choice. You have needs, right? You have to go to the bathroom. You have to do human things. I don't know, the bathroom is the one that's coming to mind. But if you have to go to the bathroom, you don't have to go like right now. Like hopefully you're not like, I need to go now. You can wait, you can choose to wait, okay? It's always a choice. The same goes for food. When you have that thought come in your brain, I'm hungry, you do not have to put food in your mouth that moment. You do not have to eat. And I wasn't really good at understanding this early on. I now understand this is a choice and you can choose what you put in your mouth and when. Again, brutally honest advice to myself. I used to think I have to eat this because I'm starving and I'm gonna die if I don't eat. Kind of, that's how it felt in my head. I felt like I really needed food, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can go many more hours, you'll be okay. Now you shouldn't, because you should never be starving. That's not a good tactic for weight loss. But if I'm a little hungry sometimes, that's also okay, and will help you in the long run to not be stuffed all the time. This is number 8. Ooh, this one's brutal. No diet is coming to save you. No celery juice cleanse, no soup diet, no bone broth diet, no whatever the fuck else you can insert here that you've seen on Gwyneth Paltrow's website or like anywhere. No diet is coming to save you. Cutting bread, the moment you decide you're going to do this the right way, which is the only way, that's when you're going to see real results. And it actually makes the entire process easier because when you do this the real way, the only way, you'll see real change. Whereas the diets give you false hope. They set you up for failure. You start off strong and then you end up crashing and you get in this cycle of false hope, failure, restarting over and over again. If you do it right, it's harder maybe at first, but you will stick to it in the long run, see results, and you don't have to deal with feeling like you're failing over and over again, which by the way, you're not failing, the diets are failing you, because as petites, we do need this different approach. That said though, you do need to choose this for you. A diet's not gonna save you. And I wish I knew that because I tried all of them, you know? And I didn't realize, oh, I just need to do the work. To be honest, guys, I told you this was gonna be brutal. So I'm telling you, this is how I would talk to my former self who, you know, just to give a little tough love. Piece of advice number 9, sometimes you're going to have to be a little bit more disciplined than you want to. Here's my tips to my younger self on how to do this without it sucking as much. Here's an example. When I wake up in the morning, I want caffeine. I want it now. And I know I don't feel good unless I delay my caffeine intake until after my workout. I need to have it later. So a question that I started asking myself is, okay, April right now wants caffeine, matcha, but is that gonna make future April feel good or bad? If the answer is bad, then I need to really just say, okay, I'm not even thinking about it, I'm not entertaining it, I'm just gonna go to the gym and I'll get to have that matcha just later, and then future April is gonna be happy. So a question you can ask yourself, is future, your name, going to benefit from this decision, yes or no? If it's a no, refrain, have the discipline, don't do it. If it's a yes, then it's no problem. This is one way that you can avoid self-sabotaging your results. And here's how you know if you're self-sabotaging your weight loss results. If you think about what could go wrong more than what could go right in your weight loss journey, if you focus on your past failures, the times that you didn't have enough discipline, or the times that you gained weight instead of lost it, and if you worry more about gaining weight than you do sticking to the plan you made, you are self-sabotaging. You need to have focus on what if it goes right? What if I stick to this? Not what if it goes wrong? What if I gain weight? If you are mostly thinking that, that's a clear indicator that self-sabotage is happening. So ask yourself those questions and catch yourself in those thoughts and redirect them to focusing on the path ahead. What do I need to do to get this right? What needs to happen? And how am I gonna make it a reality? And then the path forward is clear. This is piece of advice number 10, and I'm gonna read it because it's a quote not from me, but from the book, The Mountain Is You, which I highly recommend for all of my mindset girlies that like mindset stuff. The Mountain Is You. It's on Spotify right now, by the way, for free. So check it out as an audiobook. Feelings do not inform you of the right decisions to make. The right decisions create the right feelings. In other words, action precedes motivation. If you want to feel a certain way, you need to start acting in ways that will create that feeling. You will not feel it and then go and create the action. So if you want to feel energetic, you need to go to the gym and work out, and you'll have energy later, the next day. If you want to feel motivated to work out, same thing. You got to go get that momentum going, and then you're going to find that it's there for you. So remember that the feelings are going to come later, and just start with the actions. Don't expect the feelings to be there when you're starting this journey. they will come later, and normalize that for yourself. That's gonna give you a ton of motivation to get started or keep going when it's tough. Another thing from this book, she says everything is uncomfortable until it's familiar. That's why when we walk into a gym and we've never been there before, it's uncomfortable. You don't know where anything is. You're kind of self-conscious about people looking at you, not knowing how a machine works, not knowing where the locker room is, feeling self-conscious among the weight section. It will feel uncomfortable until it's familiar. So the best thing you can do is just familiarize yourself with things that feel uncomfortable. Over time, through exposure, it's gonna feel easier, and then you can walk in with confidence and start seeing progress. So seek to familiarize the uncomfortable, the unknown, and you do that through exposure and just letting yourself learn those things slowly. And then it's stuff that you do on a normal basis. I'm so curious to hear which piece of advice resonates the most with where you are in your journey right now as petite. Drop it in the comments, let's chat. And if you have not already, RSVP and save your seat in my free fat loss masterclass for the petite body type. This masterclass is bomb, okay? It's so fun. It's only petite, so you get to look around the room and see that we're all struggling with similar things and find a path forward that's grounded in scientific principles on how to lose weight as a petite woman specifically. You can sign up for free. The seats are limited, so make sure you grab your seat below. I will see you there. I do teach it live, so you can ask questions. We'll do a Q&A. And I have a little gifty for those who show up live, which you can see below. If you come, I will give it to you, and it's amazing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to this channel to help support our community, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.